And here we go. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to an exciting Saturday night for the Saturday Night Wine Stream and another exciting episode of Drink with Rick. I'm Rick. Tonight we're going to open a bottle of wine that I wasn't really prepared for. It was not one that was on my list, but it's here now, so that's what we're going to do. And let's see, do I have any audio? I hope so. I don't hear it. Do I hear any audio? Yeah, there's audio. I'm just cutting out on my headset here. My headset, I'm going to have to get that fixed too. It's not the headset that's the issue, it's this little connector here. And let me see what we can hear it. All right. I think I got it. Anyway, sorry for that, folks. A few glitches here, and there might be a couple more before this wine stream is over with tonight. I hope not. We'll see how it goes. Anyway, welcome to the wine stream. This is Drink with Rick, and yes, I do have a wine here that is a Chardonnay, and you know, I am a red wine drinker, but occasionally I'll open a Chardonnay or white wine if it's a good one. I don't know about this one. And there's an interesting story behind this, and we'll go into it as I get the bottle open and we check it out. This should be very interesting, but this was not the wine I expected to be opening tonight. As a matter of fact, tonight I was actually originally going to open this Fit Vine, which my good friend Stephanie, and Stephanie's in the chat, by the way. Stephanie, it's great to see you. She says, hey, Rick, good to be here, and it's good to have you here, Stephanie, and it's good for all of us to be here on this Saturday night. I'm glad we're all here. I hope you're having a great evening. But Stephanie actually introduced me to a Fit Vine wine. She made a suggestion for Fit Vine wines, and we did open and review one a few weeks ago. And I liked it so much that I said, you know, I've got to try a number of these labeled wines here, labeled Fit Vine. So I ordered one from Winestore, and it took a couple of weeks to get here. There was a little delay in the shipping, but they actually got it to the store. They special ordered it for me, and then I picked it up. But that's not the wine we're drinking tonight. We're going to save this one for next week. Tonight we're going to open this one because there is an interesting story to this. So anyway, if you're joining me for the first time, this is Drink with Rick. This is where we open up a bottle of wine and we taste it, review it, pair it with food, and then we just sit back, relax, talk about stuff, and have a great time. I am not a sommelier. I'm not a wine expert, so to speak. I'm just a guy, an everyman who likes to drink wine, and which is about 99.9% of us out there, right? We're all just enjoying the wine. So you don't have to go with my recommendations, but I know what I like and I know what I don't like, just as you do. And that's kind of the way we approach it. That's the way we approach this, the wine on this show. So having said that, this is a stream of consciousness kind of show. I do have some show notes right here, but may not follow them 100%. I may go way off on different tangents. And of course, with the chat, with everyone in the chat, you're part of the show. This is not a show that's about me. This is, you know, it's about the wine, but it's about us, you and me, together. So join in the chat, and who knows where the discussion will go. All right? We've had some interesting discussions in the past, by the way, and which, you know, I'm eager to hear what you have to think and what you have to say on the show. And I really would like to know how your week went. It's been a very interesting week for me, but I want to know about you. If you're watching us, you can watch us on Facebook Live. We're there. You can watch us on our Facebook page at Drink with Rick. Also, you can watch on YouTube at Drink with Rick on YouTube, the YouTube channel there. And Twitch. We are live on Twitch. And that is Drink with Rick 1, the number 1. Drink with Rick, the number 1. And Twitter at Drink with Rick. Yes, we are streaming live on Twitter. I don't know who actually watches a 90-minute plus show on a Twitter feed, but you know, if that's what you do, that's where we are. And of course, you can catch us on drinkwithrick.com. This is live on the website, drinkwithrick.com, on the homepage. Now, there's no way to chat with us there, but you can leave comments if you click on the page for the episode that we're streaming live now, you can enter comments in the comments box below, and I'll get those and respond in kind. Our podcast goes out. This is the podcast version of this show, largely unedited. Occasionally, I might edit for some things that are maybe all visual that people following the podcast probably wouldn't really, they just get lost on. So I do occasionally do some editing for that, but otherwise it's largely unedited, stream of consciousness, and the podcast goes out at 10 p.m. Eastern Time every Monday night. Every Monday night, 10 p.m. Eastern. And you can also catch that, pretty much here. You can subscribe everywhere. Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, TuneIn, Stitcher Radio, iHeartRadio, Deezer. You can do an email. You can subscribe to the show by email, and you'll get a new episode every week in your inbox. And also on the RSS feed, and that's at drinkwithrick.com. You can do that there. Anyway, so here is what we have tonight. What we have tonight is, I'm going to pull this up here just a moment, a Laetitia, I guess it's Laetitia or Laetitia, I think it's Laetitia. This is Laetitia Estate. This is a Chardonnay from Arroyo Grande Valley in California. This is a 2018. Now this wine, there's an interesting backstory to this particular bottle of wine, which I'll get at in a few moments. But let's learn a little bit about more about this wine. I'm going to read the back end of it here. I'm going to show you the back label. This 2018 Estate Chardonnay, and Eric Hickey, the winemaker, has something written here, and he says, Estate is a guarantee of the highest level of quality. We demand the best. That's why we grow our own fruit and control quality at every step of the way. And that's Eric Hickey who signed that, the winemaker. Now, the thing is, there are some wineries that grow their own grapes and make their own wine. There are others that will just buy the grapes. There's some vineyards that don't actually make the wine pretty much themselves, but they grow them for the other winemakers who make the wine. And then there are winemakers who will either buy those grapes and make wine, or they'll buy a lot of the wines after they've been made by someone else, and then make their own blends with different wines. Very interesting industry. We've talked about a lot of that before. I'm not going to go into that detail right now, maybe another time. But you can catch some of the older episodes, and I do go into some detail as to how these wines are made. Technical details: topography, coastal terrace, 3 miles from Pacific Ocean. Get that ocean air, the salty air. Climate, maritime climate, region 1. Coolest growing region is looks like it's above 2,500 degree days. Okay. Okay, whatever. Maybe listen. Vineyard philosophy, sustainable viticulture. Growing season is March to October. The soil composition's rocky clay loams derived from volcanic and ocean floor parent material. Trellising system is a vertical shoot positioning, and I will probably discuss that another time. I'm not going to go into an explanation on that here. Elevation 255 feet to 720 feet. Oak, 100% oak, barrel fermented, or 100% barrel fermented in French, 25% new, and 75% neutral. So 25% of that the barrel is French oak. Clones, they're Dijon 96, 97, went 17, and Clone 4. And the barrel aging is 10 months. It is produced and bottled by Laetitia Winery in Arroyo Grande, California. And there is there a, let's see, what's alcohol in small letters on the side. Alcohol 13.4% by volume in this 750 milliliter bottle of wine. So I've got this right here. We're going to open it in just a few moments. In the meantime, let me tell you my story. And I do have a few more tasting. I had a text sheet. They had a text sheet on this thing from the Laetitia Estate, LaetitiaWine.com. And I can read that too, because there's some interesting things about the growing season and some other technical details that were not mentioned here. But I am surprised. I'm actually very impressed. Usually, excuse me, usually on the backs on these labels, they'll have some sort of promotional or some kind of marketing hype on there, and maybe come up with some fancy history of the wine and that sort of thing, or just some sort of colorful description of the wine, or where the grapes were grown, or the winemaking process, that sort of thing. But this doesn't do that. This wine is a little different. If you see there, if you look again on back here, this one really gives the technical details, much of which are actually on this technical sheet that I have here, this tech sheet, which I thought was kind of refreshing. That's actually refreshing. So when I got this bottle, I didn't really look at it too much, but I thought, well, maybe there's something to it. Maybe we'll give it a try and see what happens. I hope so. Before we go any further, let me check with YouTube. Not much else going on YouTube. I know we have some folks that show up on Twitch later on in the evening. I'm not going to make this such a really super long show if I can help it, because I've had a long week and I've got a lot more things to do, and I'm going to have to edit this podcast when I get done. So I've got a lot of work ahead of me, but we're going to have a good show. So here we are. I'm going to go ahead and open this wine, and to do so, I've got a couple things here. I've got my. I don't need my corkscrew tonight because this is a screw cap on this bottle. So that's good. And of course, I have my trusty Veneto aerator from the Veneto Wine Lover set. So I'll get that in here. Aerate this wine a little bit so it breathe better. And of course, to pour it, the glass to pour it into is the Galway, my Galway genuine Irish crystal glass from Ireland. And actually, this is from Ireland, by the way. My employers purchased this for me as a gift a couple of years ago, and it's a really nice set. They also gave me a nice glass carafe, which I actually haven't used yet. It's been safely in the box. I've been waiting for the right special occasion to bring it out and use it. It's such a nice gift that I just didn't want anything to happen to it. You know what I mean? Anyway, we're going to go ahead and pour the wine into the glass. Just a little bit. We'll pour the wine in the glass, and we're going to let it breathe a little bit. And while it's breathing, while we're giving it some air and getting it going, let's find out a little bit more about this wine. Now, on the internet, when I looked around on this wine, price-wise, and I'll tell you my little story about this particular bottle here in a moment. Vivino has it listed for $22 a bottle, a little bit more than what I would have paid for a white wine myself, because I'm not a big white wine drinker. I prefer the reds myself, and it gets a 3.7 rating on there. Let's see, the Vineyard, which is where I think I pulled this tech sheet from, they have it for $19.99 a bottle for the 2018 vintage. These are both for the 2018 vintage. And then I looked and I checked around. The Laetitia winery itself had it listed. I didn't see the 2018, but they have the 2019 listed for $22 a bottle. They have a 2018 Laetitia Clone 17 Chardonnay. I didn't really check to see what that was all about, but they have that listed for $34 a bottle. So now, of course, the wineries, you buy them direct from the wineries. Sometimes you actually do pay a lot more than some discount places. But I purchased mine from Winestore in Blakeny, near where I live, in Charlotte area, and I have the receipt right here, and I paid $14.79 a bottle for this Laetitia Chardonnay. We're going to find out if it's worth that $14.79 a bottle. So let me tell you what happened. I'll tell you what happened here. I had, if you remember, last month, I had reviewed a Chardonnay, a La Terre Chardonnay. which is the bottle's back there, sitting back there, and I really wasn't expecting much from the Chardonnay, and it was about a $7, $8 bottle of wine. I was trying to keep it low, really low budget. But I took a chance on it. There were, the folks at Winestore said, well, why don't you try this? You haven't reviewed it yet. And they knew that I was not a white wine drinker. They said, I don't know if you really like it, but you can try one. And I said, why not? I haven't done a white wine in a while. Let's go ahead and review one. So I purchased a bottle, and of course we reviewed it, and I was pleasantly surprised. I was really surprised. I thought it was actually very good. And so I thought, well, I'll buy another bottle of it, just for myself later on, which I did. I think a week or two later, I purchased another bottle, and it was also very good. It was also excellent. I had it with some chicken and I think I forgot what it was. All I ate it with, but it was a good pairing. It was a good pairing. So a couple of weeks ago, when I needed when I was going to buy this bottle of what it was the Hancock and Hancock, I think it was Montrevet. I don't remember which one it was, but I placed an order for some more wine for the review, and when I did, I did this over the phone, and I said, well, can you throw in a bottle of the Laetitia for me as well? And she said, sure. Now, I mentioned several times, I just want the Laetitia, and I actually had her read back the order at some point, and, pretty much it sounded like she said Laetitia, Chardonnay. So I thought, okay, great, and then we did curbside pickup, which was great. That's really, they have a fine service for that. And then when I got the wine home, actually, I asked her over the phone at the time. I said, okay, what's my total? And I got my card on file there. They just bill me, and then I pick up the wine. And I said, what's the total? And she said, she gave me the total, and it was a little higher than I expected because I pretty much priced out all the wines and knew what I was buying. And I thought, okay, why is it a little bit higher? I wasn't sure, but okay, it's good. So I got the wine home, and I'm pulling out the bottles of wine, and we kind of give them a little wipe down, that sort of thing. It's COVID season, right? So I'm wiping down these bottles of wine, and then I pulled the one out, and I said, well, what's this? Where's my Laetitia? And what is this? And it turns out, and I checked, I said, well, maybe they just threw the wrong bottle in there. And then I looked at the receipt, and I thought, oh, okay, that's why it's a little bit more, because it was the wrong bottle they gave me. And this bottle is about twice what the Laetitia is. So, I thought, but, at first I thought, not real good with this, but then I thought, well, wait a minute, I got another wine to open up. I've got a wine to taste that I've never opened before. That's perfect. So it was a happy accident because I'm thinking, well, hey, she did me a great favor. I've got a wine for this weekend. So, and that's what we're doing. Anyway, I didn't mean to go long on that, but that is kind of what happened with that bottle of wine. No harm done, and we'll see if the wine is really, really good to drink. So let me check one more time. Anything going? And Stephanie, we're going to be doing some toasting with you here in a few moments, in just a short period of time here. And let's see, anything else going on online? I think my wife's not even watching me tonight. She's just too tired. She worked during the day, so she's just kind of out of it. I think she has another early work day tomorrow, and she's just, I think she's just heading off to bed. Anyway, so let's give this a taste. Let's give this a little whiff. And on the nose, I'm getting a little pear on the nose, and a little bit of apple. Kind of has an apple smell to it. Yeah, mostly apple and pear, kind of a mix, I think. Let's see. Wow, that's kind of a mix. That's a real mix. I mean, I tasted a number of things in here all at once. It went down. It has Yeah, it's a fairly medium finish to it. It's a bit on the I don't. It's not a light wine. It's a light bodied wine, but it's definitely not a light wine. It tastes. I don't. It's not heavier, but it's what's the word? A little bolder than what I would have expected, and it's kind of medium. Mm. It's dry, but it's not too dry. It's okay, and it is somewhat acidic, not bad. But right off the bat, it's buttery, as I would expect from a Chardonnay. Actually, I wasn't expecting that one to be that too buttery. I thought the Laterra was very buttery, and it was really nice. This one, I don't want to compare the two just yet, but on the second taste, there is some oakiness to it. There is a little oakiness, but it's not overpowering, and it's not as oaky as I would have expected from reading the label. It didn't, from reading the label, I thought, well, this is going to be a really oaky wine, but it wasn't that. The first two tastes I had really didn't seem that oaky, although there is some in it. And I was getting a little bit of citrus, but I wasn't able to really pick it all out. Let me see. Yeah, lemon. I'm getting some lemon out of this. Almost like not nearly as strong. I mean, it's not real super tangy, but it's a lemon, like one of those little lemon drop things that you get, the candies, lemon drop candies. It's kind of lemony that way. It does kind of taste like, because it is a little sweet, kind of a sweet lemon taste, I guess you could say. It's actually, and I like those little lemon drops. Let's see. Maybe a hint of melon, maybe not watermelon, maybe more like a not a cantaloupe, maybe a honeydew melon. Maybe I think that's kind of what I'm tasting a little bit of. Maybe a honeydew melon a little bit. The apple, I'm not tasting the apple as much as I smelled it. It was the apple on the nose, but in the taste, I'm not really getting that. But the pear is still there somewhat, but it's very buttery. Yeah, I could drink some of this wine. Once again, I'm not really a white wine person, but if someone handed me a glass of this wine, I'd drink it. Yeah, I'd drink it. We're going to pair it with food here in just a minute. We'll do that. But before I do that, let's get back to the chats, because and Stephanie, you're kind of quiet tonight, but tell me how you're doing, and tell me what you're drinking, or tell me what you'd like to be drinking. And you do drink the Fit Fine wines; those are the ones that you recommended to me, and I'll tell you, that was a good recommendation. I appreciate it. I do have some coasters packed away to send you, and also Ed, if you're watching now or later, I do have your book packed up and ready to send. I tried to send this stuff out Friday, or yesterday. And my wife actually was going to take it down to the post office for me to get it shipped out, but unfortunately when she got there, the line was just way too long, and everybody was kind of packed in together, so she didn't really feel comfortable about going in there and standing around with a lot of people. And I think, as she told me, she said a lot of them weren't wearing masks or anything, so she just didn't really feel comfortable with it. So she came back, and I'm going to go ahead and take them to another place to ship them out Monday morning. So I apologize for that little delay, but we'll get all that out to you. We'll get that out to you. I've got some other things to ship out Monday morning, and so I'm just going to do it all at once myself. So anyway, let's go ahead and do some food pairing. And I didn't check Twitch lately, but if you're on Twitch, thanks for joining me, and tell me what you're up to. Okay, and nothing, of course, going on YouTube really. People watch it after the fact. They're not really. YouTubers aren't generally. They generally like to comment after, and I've had some interesting comments on some of my videos in the past. Some good, some a little strange. but they're not known for commenting during the video. They're known for going in and some of them trolling afterwards. Anyway, so we've got some food tonight. Tonight I have to pair this up. Let me get a little closer shot of this. Let's see if I can find it here. There we go. I have here some barbecue. These are both barbecue, as a matter of fact, because we had dinner at the local Midwood restaurant. We had it takeout. No, we didn't go in. But this is a barbecued beef brisket, and then I have some chicken. And I'm not sure about the brisket because that's really more of a red wine kind of meat. But the chicken should actually pair up fairly well with the Chardonnay. I also have a couple of cheeses. We are out. My wife informed me that I ate the last of the Trader Joe's Gouda, so we don't have that tonight. But I do have some. Looks like we have some medium cheddar, and we do have a little bit of. I don't know what this is. Oh, it's mozzarella. It's a very soft mozzarella. We have a little bit of mac and cheese here to try it with. Chardonnays can go okay with a mac and cheese. They can. And, of course, some crackers to clean the palate with. So we're going to give that a try in just a moment. Let me clear my palate, as a matter of fact, while I'm thinking about it. There we go. So let's try it first. I mean, I'll try it with the brisket. Why not? But I'm not expecting too much from that. I mean, it's an excellent beef brisket. It really is. And it's fairly tender, but that is something I would pair with a red wine, not with a white, not with a Chardonnay, really. I think it's going to be too. You want something with some tannins, and you want something that's going to be really dry and red. I don't know. We'll see. As expected. Not the best pairing on that. Not surprised at all. Let's try it with the chicken, though. I do expect some good things out of the chicken, so we'll try that. This is also really good chicken. Let me pour a little bit more in here. I don't have enough. I kind of like the wine. I actually do. I wasn't expecting the flavor here. Chicken goes well with. I rather like it with the chicken. I think that's a good pairing. I like it. Pretty good. Let's try it a little bit with the cheddar cheese. Well, actually, you know what? Let's try with the mac and cheese first, because I think that might actually be okay. Let's give it the mac and cheese. Mac and cheese and a Chardonnay. Yeah, I like it. And it really brings out the macaroni in there, too. I like that. Yeah, it's pretty good. We'll try it with the cheddar. It's a medium cheddar. And let's see how that works. Should be clearing my palate between each one of these. The cheddar is pretty good. Let's see. It's okay. It's okay, but I like it better with the mac and cheese. I don't know about the mozzarella. It's kind of soft. We'll see. I still like it better with the mac and cheese. I think it's good. So overall, I think the chicken, the mac and cheese, I think are a good pairing with this. I think this is the kind of thing that a Chardonnay like this you kind of want to pair with a nice fish dinner, or maybe some. And if you pork, I guess it would work with pork. I don't really eat the pork myself. Not really healthy, but I think it would probably be okay with that. But not bad, not bad. With the mac and cheese is actually okay. I like that. So I'm going to read you a couple other little details about this wine, as a matter of fact, before we go any farther, before we get into the birthdays, which we're going to get into next. So stick around, Stephanie, especially you, Stephanie. 2018 Laetitia Estate Chardonnay, growing season. The Chardonnay is from the Laetitia Estate Vineyard in the Arroyo Grande Valley, just 3 short miles as the crow flies from the Pacific Ocean. I think we read that part on the back of this. By the way, I'm reading from their text sheet now. They call these things text sheets. You'd think we were drinking something electronic, but yeah, text sheets. That's a joke. Never mind. Relatively low rainfall during the onset of the 2018 growing season in the Arroyo Grande Valley led to an early March 5th bud break. So they're telling what happened to this particular 2018 vintage. Early on, we saw a very good wine balance, ripeness, and a solid crop load. Mid-August heat spikes postponed harvest. Typically, we begin harvest on or around the second week of August. In 2018, harvest started on September 1st as weather extremes tapered off. The 2018 wines are showing beautifully, and the Laetitia Estate Chardonnay is ready to drink now. So this is right, and it does. When I opened the bottle, I took the first sip, and it does taste like it's fairly well matured. I don't know if this is a wine that's intended for storing long term. It's probably something you want to drink within 2 to 3 years. So that's something to be aware of. Barreling, only the best French oak is used to age Laetitia Chardonnay. I'm reading from the text sheet again. The 2018 vintage was aged in 25% new Francois Frères and Rousseau barrels for 9 months. And I think I read all the rest of this. So the production was 1,000 cases of this. Alcohol 13.4%. This is what I have here. So that's what I have from the text sheet for this wine. So all right. So that's all the tech specs on this Laetitia Estate Chardonnay. $15 a bottle. Okay, not too bad. I wouldn't pay $22 for it. I don't think, unless you really like white wine. I'm not a white wine drinker once again, but if you do like whites, white wines and Chardonnays in particular, you might like this one. Depending on your budget, $22 maybe. I don't know that I would. If it's available for a lot less than that, I would do that instead. I would shop around and look for something like that. The Laterre wine, I think it's on par. I think they're on par with each other. Laterre wine. The Laterre wine was about half the price of this. So I mean, different flavors in the Laterre, but a few different ones. But overall, I would, if I was going to buy a Chardonnay, just personally, I would probably go with the Laterre first, just because of the price point, and because it's pretty decent for the price point, and it seemed pretty well matured and a pretty well balanced wine. At least the ones that I've had. I've already had a couple of bottles of it, so it's I like it. I like it a lot. Anyway, so that's enough of that for right now. Let's go into the birthdays, because we have some birthday celebrations and an anniversary to celebrate. And the first one I would like to toast is one I actually toasted her last week, but I'm going to toast her again just because I can. Her birthday was on Tuesday, and I'm talking about Stephanie, my good friend Stephanie Lee. And Stephanie is a fellow podcaster, and she's been doing this for some time now. And she is, let's see, her podcast is, I've listened to a number of episodes of it, and the first time I heard it, I was like, I don't know, because I wasn't. I'm not the type of person where I worry too much about that sort of thing. But after I listened to a couple of episodes, I was thinking, I really like this show. It grew on me. Her show is Growing Uncomfortable, and what her podcast is about. She basically talks about getting outside of your comfort zone and getting out and doing things, trying new things, getting new things, and not being depressed about it. But it's a very, very positive, very uplifting type of podcast. And it got me to thinking, after I heard the first couple of shows, got me to thinking, you know what, there's some things on my bucket list that maybe I'm not doing because exactly what she's talking about, where I'm not really, I'm too much in my comfort zone. I'm too comfortable where I'm at, and I'm afraid to step out or take that leap to do something else. And it's sort of similar to the Start Ugly book. I'm pointing at something that's not there now because we gave it away. But, but you know, I've been listening to her podcast, and I really like it. And I tell you what, if you, I would just say, give it a listen. Give it a listen because it's I like it. It's a pretty good show, and I think Stephanie does a fine job with it. Anyway, Stephanie, here's to you. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. And yes, it's a white wine. I hope you don't mind me toasting you with a white wine instead of a red. But here you go. And you may have many more happy birthdays. And, oh, I almost forgot something. Here, let me throw this up there. There you go. Happy birthday, Stephanie. Happy birthday. And may your show be always a success. I really enjoy it, by the way. So we have let me see. There we go. We have a couple more birthdays to toast, and let's see. Let's see who's next. Oh yes, my friend Danny Pena. Danny is another fellow podcaster, Danny Pena. And he does the Gamertag Radio. He's been doing that for many. He's a long-time podcaster, and he started Gamertag Radio way back in the early days podcasting, and he has really turned it into quite an enterprise. He is a rather influential person in the video game industry now. He's become very influential. And he's done a fabulous job with his podcast, and he and his team have just they're just really good at it. I first met him. Tommy and I first met him and his team at Podfest several years ago, and it really impressed me that he's really good at what he does. Anyway, his birthday is Danny's birthday is let's see. Oh, it was Wednesday. It was Wednesday. So I want to say, Danny Pena, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Oh, yeah, I'm going to do this again. I promised myself I was going to start doing this from now on. Happy birthday to Danny Pena. Happy birthday. So I have one more birthday to toast, and this is to another special friend of mine. By the way, I'm getting back to Stephanie for just a moment. You can catch her podcast. It's all over the place, and I know I mentioned it earlier, Growing Uncomfortable. You can go to growinguncomfortable.com, check it out as well. And Danny's podcast is Gamertag Radio, so you can catch both of those there. Really fine podcasters. And I'll tell you, I'm listening to Stephanie's podcast on a regular basis now because I was listening to a couple of episodes earlier this week, and I really like it. Very good job. Let's see. The other birthday person that I want to toast is to my good friend Mark Miller. Now, Mark is a good old friend of ours, and he's the one that I've mentioned several times before in past episodes, where he and his wife Kathy, they do house concerts. So they'll do. They're not doing anything right at the moment in that regard because of the pandemic. But I think they're going to get back into that pretty soon. But they pretty much renovated their entire backyard with a really nice stage area, and they got places sitting on a barbecue and all kinds of stuff. Really cool. I mean, just a really cool setup. And they will, about once every few weeks, they would do a house concert that have musicians come over, and musicians that often go and do various house concerts, and they perform. and they would throw a big party. Of course, there'd be wine, and I would often bring wine, and my wife would bring over some foods as well, kind of potluck thing, and it was a lot of fun, And Mark's birthday is today, Saturday. This is the 11th, 7/11. So here's to my good friend Mark. He's a really, really nice guy, and he and his wife been really good to G and Tommy T and myself, and they're really just great people, Anyway, here's to Mark. Happy birthday, Mark! And I think you were out enjoying yourself today. Continue to do so. Do it safely and do it with gusto. But here's to you, and may you have many, many, many more happy birthdays. And oh yes, I almost forgot. See, I got to get into this habit of doing this, right? Happy birthday, Mark. Happy birthday. All right. So I've got an anniversary to toast as well. And I'm trying to remember if I toasted their anniversary last week. Maybe I didn't, but I just want to make sure I got that in. And this is to Cole and Jamie Bowling and their wedding anniversary. 7 years for Cole and Jamie Bowling. And I want to say to them also, I think their anniversary is on Monday, right? And for 7 years. 7 years on 7/7. How about that? Anyway, here's to Cole and Jamie Bowling. Happy anniversary. And may you have many, many, many more. I think that's kind of got it for the birthdays and the anniversaries. I'm still in a toasting mood, are you? I'm in a toasting mood. So let's go right into the national days, because I think that could be fun. We have some national days to toast. We have, yeah, there we go. National days. I think that's what it's time for, isn't it? My show notes said time for new national days. Here we are. July 11th. And before I get into that, let me just double check, see who's in the chat anywhere. It's pretty quiet tonight. Okay. National days. We have the first one for July 11th. There are a few really good ones here. There is Cheer Up the Lonely Day. National Cheer Up the Lonely Day, and I will drink to that because I know what it's like to be lonely. When I was younger, yeah, there were times when I was very lonely. Cheer Up the Lonely Day. Here's to you. And another one that I think that I would toast is National Rainier Cherry Day. Rainier cherries are Rainier. Is it Rainier or Rainier? Rainier. Rainier. I don't know. Mount Rainier. I think it's named after Mount Rainier. Is what it is. It's actually a mix. I think checking on the National Day Counter. I think I had something pulled up on it here, but I believe it was. Yes, I have it right here. National Rainier Cherry Day on July 11th recognizes the cherry variety named after Mount Rainier. In 1952, and I'm reading directly from their website, by the way. In 1952, Harry Fogel of Washington State University developed the Rainier cherry by crossbreeding the Bing and Van cherry lines. So, and there's more about it here. You can read all about that at nationaldaycalendar.com. So that's good stuff, and I love cherries. So here's to National Rainier Cherry Day. Rainier Cherry Day. Here's to it. There you go. Okay, so and you know, my daughter Tia said, no, that's why you love cherries, because she doesn't like red wines. Because a lot of the red wines that, whatever red wines she's tried before, because she said they tasted like cherry medicine. She doesn't like cherry, so she didn't care for the red wine. I probably should have picked a red wine that really didn't have a cherry flavor. My bad. But anyway, National Blueberry Muffin Day is also today, July 11th, for the next hour and 14 minutes. National Blueberry Muffin Day. I love blueberry muffins, and my wife often bakes them in the morning, and it's great to wake up to the smell of fresh coffee and fresh baked blueberry muffins hot out of the oven. Ooh, that's a great thing to wake up to in the morning, isn't it? Here's the National Blueberry Muffin Day. Okay, I'll drink to that. And today is an All-American Pet Photo Day. All-American Pet Photo Day. I can definitely drink to that. You know, I'm always showing off our pet photos here. It's actually Tommy's dog, my son Tommy, his dog. I have a new one I meant to show last week. I think I forgot to do it, actually. But we took a picture of him. It was funny because we were all sitting around watching a movie on TV. And earlier in the day, I think either my wife or my daughter had given Cosmo, the dog, one of those little kind of hot dog shaped pillows, the little ones, and she just dumped it into his little dog bed, and about halfway through the movie we noticed him sleeping in the dog bed, and he was all curled up just like this. This photo was taken by my daughter Tia. We just thought that was the cutest thing, but he was sleeping through the movie pretty much, and he was hugging it. He had the dog pillow, well, it's now a dog pillow. He had this little tube pillow, and he was just sleeping on it and just hugging it, and it was really cute. Anyway, he looked so relaxed. He looked so comfortable and relaxed, and just, you know, we just didn't want to disturb him. He's just enjoying a nice long nap, sleeping on his little pillow. Thought that was pretty cool. Anyway, yeah, so we take a lot of photos of our pet. We take a lot of photos. You've seen some of them in the past. So here's to National, oh no, it's All-American, no, it's National, All-American Pet Photo Day. And you know what today is also? National Mojito Day. Yes, it is National Mojito Day. You like mojitos? I like mojitos. It's been a while since I've had one. But, yeah, you know, and actually on the nationaldaycalendar.com, they actually have the recipe for a mojito. It says the cocktail consists of white rum, sugar, lime juice, sparkling water, and mint. And I like all those items, and all combined together. That's pretty cool. So, yes, here's to National Mojito Day. Yeah, I'm going to have myself a mojito one of these days soon. It's been a while. It's been quite a while. Okay, what days, if you think of what kind of days it would have on July 11th, what would come to mind? What kind of things do you think would be a national day on July 11th? Think about it for a second. July 11th. What month is July? What number is the month? 7? What's today? The 11th? 7/11? 7/11? Yes, there is a National 7/11 Day, believe it or not. And that makes sense. That makes sense. And when better to have a National 7/11 Day than on 7/11? Of course. Okay, there you go. That makes perfect sense to me. So here's the National 7/11 Day. National 7/11 Day. Anyway, tomorrow, July 12th, is National Simplicity Day. Let's keep everything simple, folks. Nothing complicated. National Simplicity Day. Tomorrow is also National Different Colored Eyes Day. National Different Colored Eyes Day. Okay. It's also National Pecan Pie Day. Okay. Pecan. I say pecan. Okay, that's just how I say it. It's pecan. Some people say pecan, pecan. I don't know. How do you say it? Pecan? It's all the same thing, right? It's all the same stuff. I'm not a big fan of pecan. I'm not a big fan of pecans or pecans. Okay, this is not crazy about pecans. I like walnuts, and I like somewhat, in certain ways. I like walnuts. I don't like walnuts sprinkled in my ice cream and things like that. But I'll eat a walnut. I'll open up a walnut and eat it. And I like it in certain other things. If they got it on baklava or something, and some desserts I'll eat a walnut on. Occasionally, I didn't used to like walnuts sprinkled on tops of cakes that they would do. But over a period of time, I've gotten to kind of be okay with them. And if I wasn't in the mood for it, I'd just scrape it off. Not a big deal. But what I don't like is when they embed them inside the cake. That kind of bugs me because I can't take them out if I don't want them. But well, I could, but it'd be really messy. But anyway, National Pecan Pie Day. If you like pecan pies, whatever you want to call them, and some people do love them very much. Here's to you. Here's a National Pecan Pie Day. Tomorrow's also Paper Bag Day. Yes, Paper Bag Day. Paper bags have their own day. I wonder if plastic bags have their own day. Paper or plastic? Paper Bag Day. And July 12th is also Eat Your Jell-O Day. That's right, eat your Jell-O tomorrow. I'm telling you, eat your Jell-O. I don't know. Do you know July 14th is National Grand Marnier Day and National Mac and Cheese Day, and I'm having my mac and cheese right now, so I'm kind of jumped the gun on that one. But there is also one more. Oh yes, July 15th is National Gummy Worm Day, and I can eat. I like gummy worms. I like gummy bears better, but the gummy worms, I like that. Yeah, it's National Gummy Worm Day. Of course, it's not time yet, but hey, I'm going to toast it anyway, just because I can. And I think that'll do it for the national days this week. Don't want to overdo it here, even though it's only 13.4% alcohol, I believe. I think it's moderation there. We've got to continue to practice that, right? Anything else going on in the chat? Nothing else. It's kind of quiet. But I do have a couple of other things that I want to talk about just briefly. Every year we have the podcast awards. This is the People's Choice Podcast Awards, and last year, the Two-Way Radio Show, which is the one I do for my day job, the Two-Way Radio Show podcast. We've been podcasting that. That podcast has been going on for 9 years. The three of us. I host it with the president of By Two-Way Radios, Danny, and also the COO, who is Anthony. The three of us all kind of co-host the show, and we've been doing this for 9 years, and it's been great. It's been great. So we're still doing it. We recorded a show. As a matter of fact, we recorded a show Thursday morning, and I'm still trying to get that finished in post-production so I can get it on Monday. But and it's funny because this was delayed a couple of times because we were originally going to record on Tuesday and then Wednesday morning, and then Tuesday night we're all out. Tia and Tommy, Chi and myself, were all out in the garage prepping paint cans, old paint cans, to be disposed of in the trash the next day because they were going to come pick up all that trash the next morning. And the thing is, you can't just throw out a paint can with paint in it. You have to prep it up for disposal. You have to make sure it's all dry and it's all old and nothing that could spill out and get into the ground or get into the groundwater, or if it winds up in a landfill, get on into the environment there. So there are some strict rules about how to prep a paint can. And we had not one, not two, not three, but we had no less than about 36 paint cans out there. Then I didn't really stop and count them. That was about my estimate there, about 36 paint cans, all different sizes. So it took us a while to do that. Well, some of these things have been in the garage for years, and some of them have been left over. Most of them have been left over from the previous owners. And we've lived in the house for 12 years, so it tells you how long they've been there. And some of these things we're still had liquid in them, quite a bit, but most of them are really, really rusted. The rims and everything were really, really rusted. Well, me just trying to get through it and trying to get it over with, I was the only one to go out there without a pair of gloves on doing this, and I'm trying to open up this old rusty can, and I nicked myself in the thumb with a rusty can. So then right away I'm thinking, well, wow. My first thought was, well, when was the last time I had a tetanus shot? And I couldn't remember. It had been so long since I'd had my last booster shot. And and you only have about like 48 hours. If you get hit with a rusty nail or can or something like that, you only have about 48 hours to get a shot before it's not, it's not effective against tetanus. So right away the next morning, early in the morning, I had to call up the doctor and say, hey, I need to come in and get a tetanus shot. And of course, what that meant was we had to postpone recording our podcast for that morning, for Wednesday morning. We actually had to reschedule it for Thursday morning. So Thursday morning, so get my tetanus shot and everything, it's all good. Thursday morning, we rescheduled for the same time, about 10 a.m., and about quarter to 10, 9:30, almost quarter to 10, I hear this truck pull up next door in the neighbor, and I hear these people rattling around with their ladders and stuff, and I'm looking out the window, I'm thinking, oh no, these guys are here to do some serious work on the neighbor's house. How are we going to record a podcast in this? Fortunately, they didn't make a lot of noise. They did what they had to do and left, so we were able to record the podcast on schedule, but I was a little concerned there for a while. Anyway, I went off on a tangent. That's what we do here on the show. But the reason I was mentioning all this is because we've got the podcast awards coming up. And last year, we were nominated. The Two-Way Radio Show podcast was nominated for a People's Choice Podcast Awards in the tech category. Now, we didn't win that category. I can't remember who did. It was another show. But it was just pretty cool just to be nominated. That was really really nice. So, I talked about it on the show last year, too. Anyway, the podcast awards are coming up again. This is July, and from July 1st to July 31st is a period where you can go in and sign up and nominate for your favorite show. If your favorite show is listed, you have to go up there and look for podcasts, and you can go in and nominate your favorite podcasts or podcasts that you like for the People's Choice Awards. And I think that happens on the 30th, I believe, September 30th. I think it's on International Podcast Day. Anyway, this year, my son's podcast is registered on there for nomination. And of course, the ones who get the most nominated are the ones that are going to be on the roster to be voted on for the final vote. So his show, Cube Command, is up there to be nominated. So I'm spreading this around because I'm saying, if you can, please, if you like the show, if you're into what he's into pop culture, video gaming, and things like that. A lot of pop culture stuff. And if that's what you like, give a show a listen. If you like the show, please go in there and nominate him for an award. I think he's in the games and hobbies category. I think that's where he's in this year. Anyway, you can go. I think the People's Choice Awards site, I've got it up here in just a moment, but here's the Podcast Awards. Anyway, you can go to the 15th Annual Podcast Awards. The nomination's open. Go to podcast. It says podcastawards.com. It's podcastawards.com. You just register. It's free to register. You don't pay any money or anything. It's just, it's just, and they don't even keep your email address. It's just for the awards thing, just to verify that these are all legitimate nominations. So you can go in there and nominate the show for the award. And the show is, of course, we're on the Savoy Media Network, but his show is the Cube Command show, and I've got it right here. Of course, we all are part of the Savoy Media Network. It's our network, and of course, you can see all 9 of the shows that we produced over the years. He just recently celebrated his 10th anniversary as a podcaster. I recently celebrated my 14th anniversary as a podcaster, and these are the shows that we produced. Of course, the Two-Way Radio Show isn't on this one because that's the one I produced for the company I work for. But these other shows are the ones that we've produced over the last decade or so. And Cube Command is one of those shows. That is an active show. He's been doing that for several years now. And you can check out his latest show, his latest episodes right there at Savoya Media. Savoya Media Network.com, SavoyaMedia.com. That's SAVOIAMEDIA.com. You can also check his show out on his website, and his website is cubecommand.com. That's CUBECOMMAND.com. Cubecommand.com is his website, and you see the Cube Command podcast. Check it out, and maybe if he gets enough nominations, maybe he'll be in the running to win an award this year. He does a fine job doing it. I'm really, really proud of him. He and his friend Nick Hernandez do the show together. They're co-hosts, and then they just do a fabulous job with it. Really enjoy listening to the shows. So that's what I have there. Also, I did want to mention, my friend Chris Kremitzos, who does the book that we gave away last week, which was the Start Ugly book. He does. Let me see if we can find that. Oh well, I don't know where I put it. Oh yes, Podcast Awards right here. Not Podcast Awards, Podfest Global Summit. There we go. Got to keep my notes in order. We're doing a Podfest Global Summit on August 10th through 15th. So if you're a podcaster, interested in podcasting, interested in getting into podcasting or knowing more about podcasting, or if you're interested, you're looking for something to sponsor in your company that in a related industry that wants to sponsor the summit, check it out. It's from August 10th through 15th, and you can join in, and they have tickets. I don't have the ticket prices or anything here, but they're pretty reasonable, and it's an online. So what Chris is trying to do here, and what we're all trying to do, because we're all kind of part of it, is we're trying to put together the largest international podcast festival ever. And I think his goal is trying to get 100,000 people in there. And if they can make all of that, then they can get in the Guinness Book of World Records for the largest online Podfest, largest online gathering, I guess you could say. Anyway, it's a very ambitious project, but they're really serious about this, and I think we can make it. I think we can make that goal. There's a lot of excitement for it. So if you're interested in getting a ticket for that, a lot of good information to be had there. But just check it out at podfestexpo.com. That's podfestexpo.com. So that's pretty much most of what I have there tonight. And I'll tell you, I'm going to give you a final review on this wine in just a minute. There is one more thing. I want to show you something that I came across. This was a photo. I was talking before about how my dad used to make his own wine, and this was up in Asheville, and we took the wine tour up there at Biltmore Estates a few years ago, and I literally almost bumped into this thing, and I looked at it and I said, "This looks just like my dad's wine press." Almost exactly. A few differences, but it looked so close to my dad's wine press. It's unbelievable. So I had to have a picture taken next to it because I used to help him with this. He built this thing by hand himself. Not this one, but the one that looked a lot like this. He built it by hand himself. And we'd go in and press the grapes. He'd order in these big crates of grapes, and he'd go in and press the grapes, and I'd help him. I'd help him press these grapes, and get them into the crock pot and everything, and get it ready for fermentation and all that. And it was a very interesting learning experience for me. I learned a lot about that process early on, and it was a lot of fun to be involved in something like that with my dad. It was just kind of cool, and it was one of the few things. My dad and I had a complicated relationship, but it was one of those things that kind of bonded us a little bit. I really enjoyed the experience with him. It was very cool stuff. But that photo just brought back a lot of memories, a lot of good memories for me about my dad, and I just kind of wanted to share that with you. Anyway, so that is just about all I've got. Tonight. We're going to give a wine summary here in just a moment. But I want to hear what's going on here. It's so quiet tonight. Nobody's really chatting with me here. And so usually we've gone along in the past when people jump into the chat and we start talking about stuff. So it usually makes for a much longer show, and I don't really mind that if I have people to talk to and get involved and all that. But it's just been so quiet here. It was quiet the last couple of weeks. And I think that it's the middle of summer. People are out and about. There are people traveling for the summer on vacation. So I expect that. It seems like in the fall and winter, I've been doing this for almost 2 years now. I'm getting close to it. And about a year, no, over a year and a half, not quite 2 years, but I'm talking about the wine stream here. But I can pretty much tell lots of nights when it's going to be slow, or there's not going to be a lot going on in the chats, and then the nights where it's going to be a lot happening. And usually, the slow times are oftentimes during lulls like this in the summer, when there's a lot going on that people could be out and about doing stuff, rather than just sitting home. And of course, I can imagine that once all of this pandemic stuff is lifted, it's going to be pretty quiet in the chats for a while, because everybody's going to want to get out and just be outside all the time, because being shut in like this has been pretty stressful for everyone, and it's been it's very confining. Yeah, it hasn't been a fun experience, and I think most of us have been making the best of it, of the bad situation. And look, I have a lot of faith that this is going to let up soon. They're testing vaccines now, and I've heard some good things. Some of them showing some promise. I've been hearing some about some of the progress that they've made in trying to combat this and trying to get this under control. And I think I'm pretty confident that this will be cleared up soon. I think we'll get the whole COVID thing, get past that. I do believe that. It's just, we're just going to have to stick it out. We're just going to have to do the best we can and just make the most of the situation until that happens. But when it happens, I think it'll be a good thing. And then I think nobody will be doing anything in the chats, because everybody's going to be out and about. It's going to be quiet as crickets. I may not be here for a while. I may go out and spend a few Saturday nights way out, as far away from the studio as possible, just to take a break. It might happen. It might happen. And Algorithm has joined us in the chat. Algorithm says, "Hi, Rick," and hi right back at you. I hope you're doing very well. And I don't know if you're completely shut in like I am, pretty much, but I hope you're making the best of things too. And I hope you're fine. You're all right. And I'm just confident that we'll get through this. We'll get through this. We just have to keep the faith, and we just have to be patient a little while longer, and we'll get through it. It'll be all right. It'll be okay. In the meantime, just we just have to do what we have to do. Just be careful, wear the masks, and do the social distancing, and just kind of be careful. And I think as long as we're doing that with a modicum of common sense, I think most all of us will probably be just fine. I think we will. Algorithm says, "I have wine too at the moment." Well, Algorithm, what are you drinking? What are you drinking at the moment? Because right now what we're having is the Laetitia Estate Chardonnay. It's 2018 Chardonnay. And this was an accident. It was kind of a happy accident, because it was not the wine we had planned to be drinking, but it was given to me by mistake at Winestore instead of the other wine I had ordered. And I thought when I got it out, I said, I've never had this wine before. Let's try it out. Why not? And that's what we did. And it's turned out to be a pretty decent wine, pretty enjoyable wine, I have to say. So tell me what you're drinking. What kind of, is it a red or a white or a rosé? Tell me what you're drinking. And if it's something that I haven't had before, if it's a decent price, as available to me in my area, I'll be happy to go out and get a bottle and put it up and give it a fair review myself. Stephanie, as a matter of fact, Stephanie recommended the Fit Vine wine that we tried a few weeks ago, and another one that we're going to try next week. And I've had a number of recommendations before that I've tried. Several people who've sent me bottles of wine to try and to review because they like them personally. And I found some new wines to drink, some very enjoyable ones. It's been a great experience doing this. So Algorithm says nothing fancy. Nothing fancy. It doesn't have to be. It doesn't have. Do you enjoy it? If you enjoy it, if you like the wine, if it's a good wine for you and you like to drink it and it works well with what you're having along with it, that's what's important. If you like the wine, that's what's important. Now, yeah, I draw the lines at some wines I won't drink, and we've talked about that in the past before. And we're talking about the really some of the stuff that I don't know if you'd really call them wine. But I think we know, we all know this kind of wines. But that's where I draw the line, okay? But I know there are some people that do like that, and that's what they drink, and that's fine. That's fine with them. You go with what you like and what you're comfortable with, and it's all good. It's all good. Anyway, let's see. Anything else going on? Nothing going on Facebook, and. Nothing going on YouTube because they really don't talk much on YouTube. A lot of people just troll on YouTube. I've already been there. Anyway, so there is one more thing that I would like to bring up briefly, and that is the weather radio. So we just had a tropical storm bypass us off the East Coast here. And I think it's heading up to maybe it's through New England now. But we were a little concerned at first, beginning of last week, that, we might get quite a bit of rain, might be pretty stormy. And they were predicting all these storms. And then all of a sudden it just kind of went past and just kind of missed us entirely. In fact, I think it seemed to suck a lot of the moisture out of the air in our area where we live. And so it's been kind of dry for us. We saw a few ominous clouds a couple times during the week, but it's just not really anything substantial. And Tommy and I were walking Cosmo earlier today, and we're walking around, and Tommy's commenting like, "Wow, all the lawns are looking kind of brown. They're kind of drying up." I said, we're going to need some rain soon. We really do. But that's kind of where we are there. However, that stuff happens. That can change on a dime. The weather can just turn on a dime. And we've seen that happen many times before. Living in Florida, I can attest to that personally. You just never know when something's going to just pop up, and then all of a sudden it's just a major disaster. So you want to be careful. You want to be prepared. So get a weather radio. And have an emergency preparedness kit handy. I'm a big proponent of that. That's why I harp on it every week. I try to be prepared. We try to be prepared. But we have a lot of radios, and of course I work for BuyTwoWayRadios.com. That's for full disclosure. I work for the company, but I do have a lot of radios, and I'm a ham operator. I'm also a GMRS license holder as well. So I do have a lot of radios in the house. But one thing I do have plenty of are weather radios. And when that alarm goes off, everybody stops and listens to the notification, because it could be something for some miles away that's really not going to affect us too much, or it might be something right for our immediate area that we really have to make note of. Anyway, you get a weather radio. If you get one from BuyTwoWayRadios.com, you will get, and this is the website, BuyTwoWayRadios.com. If you use the promo code WINESHOW, that's WINESHOW, that's WINESHOW, WINESHOW, at checkout, in the promo code box at checkout, you can save an additional 5% off that weather radio. And it's not just for weather radios. You can use it for, if you like FRS or GMRS radios, or business radios, if you're into business radios, if you like, if you're into ham radios, marine radios, if you have a boat, if you have a plane and need an airband radio, any accessory as well, you can use that promo code, and it will give you 5% off your order. By the way, this thing I was having trouble with at the very beginning of the show, it wasn't the earpiece, it was just a little connector that we don't have. We didn't sell it by BuyTwoWayRadios.com. I got it from Amazon. winestore.com. And I've already been through 2 of these. I replaced, they sent me a pack of 2, and this one turned out to be bad. And I struggled with it for a while on the show every week. But this one turned out to be bad, so I popped the second one in, and it's going bad too. It's just the connection's so loose. It's just cheap junk from Amazon. I'll be honest, I can't buy any more stuff like this from Amazon. I don't know. It's just not. These things aren't worth. Every time I usually get burned on these little adapter things when I buy them from Amazon. So I don't. I got to find something. We don't have a Radio Shack anymore, so you can't find anything of quality around here unless go to a Best Buy. And oftentimes the Best Buys, the local ones, won't have these. So this is just a little 3.5-inch adapter, male to female, mono to stereo adapter. And I need it for this because this earpiece that I use, which does come from By Two-Way Radios, by the way. I bought it. I didn't take it. I didn't get it for free, and I bought it from By Two-Way Radios. But I use this surveillance earpiece for monitoring the audio that we hear every week. So sometimes things will cut out for me because of this cheap adapter that I got from Amazon, and I can't hear anything. And I think the audio is going out, and everybody says, "Oh, the audio is fine." It's just me, and I wiggle it around a little more, and it's back. So I'm just really getting sick of buying these little cheapy things from Amazon. I'm kind of done with those. I'm going to find someplace where I can get a really reliable, quality adapter. That's my rant for the night. Okay, I'm not going to go too long here. We're going to cut it short for tonight. But Algory says Jacobs Creek Red Australia Shiraz Cabernet 2018, 13.9%. I drink it cold. It's pulpy and refreshing. Jacobs Creek, I know that wine. I actually haven't. I'm trying to remember if I had one myself a while back. I think I went to a party and they were serving one. It wasn't a 2018. It was a while back. Jacobs Creek Red Australia Shiraz. They make some really good wines in Australia. They do, and some people don't think too much about Australian wines, but they make some really fine wines in Australia. And I had a conversation with someone on Facebook a few nights ago about that, and we've reviewed some Australian wines on the show in the past, and no doubt we'll do some more because I do like them. And Jacobs Creek, yeah, I've heard. I haven't had a 2018. So it's a Shiraz and Cabernet blend, 13.9%, which is reasonable. I'll have to check it out. I know I've seen them in the stores. I've seen Jacobs Creek in the stores. I've just never really bought them myself, so to speak. But I'll have to check it out. Thanks for the recommendation. I'll you know what? Maybe we'll review one of those because I think that is a fairly popular wine in some local supermarkets and stuff. Like I said, I don't. Let's see, Jacobs Creek, and 2018. Okay, made a note of that, and maybe I'll try one of those out. Anyway, so I think I pretty much covered everything that we're going to cover tonight, except I do want to give a final summary, and I forgot to do that. I apologize, I forgot to do that on the show last week because it was getting late, and then we had problems with the connection. I don't know what happened last week, but if you notice, the connection went out all of a sudden everywhere. I was still recording, so I got the whole show, and you can hear, if you want to hear the tail end of the show that wasn't captured or saved on any of the platforms, you can go back and hear it in its entirety on the podcast, because that was I got the whole thing recorded, and the podcast version was fine. But it seemed like our stream cut out a couple times, and I couldn't get it back, and I don't know what happened there, and I'm not sure what happened. But hopefully it won't happen tonight, and we'll try to keep it down, time-wise, to ensure that we do get the whole show in. Anyway, this is my final review for the Laetitia Estate Chardonnay. This is 2018 Arroyo Grand Valley. Arroyo. This is a pretty decent white. Once again, I'm partial to the Laterra wines because that's what I intended to buy. But and this is twice what the Laterra wine is. The Laterra wine was like $8, $8 a bottle. This is about twice that. I don't know that because I prefer reds over whites. If you're a white wine drinker, I would say that you might like this wine. If you like some fruits like apple, because it has a bit of apple, it has kind of a lemon. What I do like about it is it has kind of a lemon sour kind of flavor to it a little bit. You know, like the little lemon, what do you call this? Sour candies. And it had some pear in it mixed in with the apple, which is okay. You know, and it's okay with me, but some people really like that kind of a mix. It seems pretty well blended. It seems pretty well, not blended, but matured. It's actually pretty decent. Has a fairly good finish. It's not a long finish. It goes down, but it's not really lingering. It is fairly dry, and it doesn't have a lot of tannins in it. It does have. I want to say that it's buttery. It's butter. It's a buttery Chardonnay. It's kind of a bold flavor to it. I would say that it's really there's strong flavors. I think that's what I would look for. The flavors are very strong. So if you don't like that, you may not prefer this Chardonnay. But if you like bold, if you like really strong flavors that kind of stand out, stick with you, you might like it. You might like it. And you know what? The longer it stands out, the more I like it. The better. And oh wow, let me try that again. Okay. I think the longer this wine is decanted, the more the pear stands out. Because I was getting a little bit of a mix of the pear and apple, and then I was mostly tasting apple and the lemon, of course, and a little bit of honeydew melon. But I think the longer it stands out, the more pronounced the pear flavor becomes. And that's just me, but that's what I'm tasting in it. So it's not bad. It's really not bad if you like those flavors. And it is still pretty buttery, but I think if I had the choice between the two of these, the Laetitia and this one, and it's not necessarily because of the taste, it's because of the price. All other things being equal, between these two wines, which the Laetitia is back there, all other things being equal, I would probably go with the Laetitia because it's half the price point of the Laetitia. Now, if money was no object, and I think for most of us under this pandemic, the current conditions, it is. But if it was not a big deal, I'd get another bottle. Yeah, but I'd say for being budget conscious and price wary, I'd probably just go ahead and stick with the Laetitia for price wise. Anyway, that's my final review on this. The Laetitia, not bad. I picked it up from Winestore at winestore-online.com. They may be available locally in your area. I don't know. They do ship to some states. I don't know if they'll ship to yours, but they do ship to some. Anyway, so that's my final review. And next week, as I stated earlier at the beginning of the show, we will open up that Fit Vine. That one is the Cab. That was the Cabernet Sauvignon. So we'll open that up next week. Back to the reds, and we'll see how that prepares. Let's see if I can lose a few pounds in the process, huh? Wishful thinking on my part, but hey, who knows? Miracles can happen, right? Miracles can happen. So anyway, that's it for me tonight. I want to say, give a last shout out to everybody here that was watching us online tonight. I want to say thank you, Stephanie, for being here tonight, and I appreciate your being here, and also happy birthday once again. And I want to say thanks to Algorithm, who joined us in the chat, and anyone else who did as well on Twitch and who watches later. I appreciate each and every one of you, because once again, this show is not about me. It's somewhat about the wine, but it's really about us, you and me together, just sitting back and having a good time. So I want to thank you for being here and for being a part of this show. And please, I want you to join me here next week as well. And next week we'll do it all again with a red wine. See where that goes. So thanks a lot. Please have a safe week. Okay? Have a great week. Have a safe week. Please do not drink and drive. Please do not text and drive. Because I want you to be safe. And I want you to be able to come back here next week on the Saturday Night Wine Stream, and we can all get together and drink with Rick. Good night.